Welcome back to The Power of the W. I'm really excited for this episode. We sit down with Rock Island County State's Attorney Dora Villarreal. She is the first female and the first Latina state's attorney in Rock Island County. We talk about what it takes to lead with conviction in a male-dominated field and what it means to serve as the county's top prosecutor. Dora reflects on the pivotal experiences that shaped her path, the sacrifices and supports that helped her along the way, and the unique challenges women face in law. With honesty in heart, she shares the moments that defined her career, her vision for a more equitable justice system, and the advice she offers to the next generation of women breaking barriers. I can't wait for you to hear this one. Let's jump in. Welcome to the Power of the W podcast, a space where we inspire, educate, and celebrate the incredible strength and resilience of women from all walks of life. In each episode, we'll dive into the stories, experiences, and insights of amazing women who are making their mark in the world. From personal development and career success to health, wellness, and entrepreneurship and beyond, we're here to uplift, empower, and fuel your journey to greatness. So get ready to embrace the power of the W. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
So you're in, is it year 5?
Year 6.
Oh, year 6.
I'm in year 6.
Of being the Rock Island County State's Attorney. What has this experience been like for you?
Well, it's been amazing. It's definitely been something that has completely changed my life ever since I became the state's attorney in 2019, and I love it. It's an incredible and amazing opportunity that I just feel so fortunate to have.
So if we go back to your childhood, what values or experiences kind of shaped your drive to go towards law?
Well, my decision to go to law school was actually more towards the very end of college. I had always kind of liked the idea of being a lawyer, but I ended up, and I should go back a little bit, both my parents immigrated from Mexico. And I'm the oldest of 3. I was born in Illinois. I have 2 younger sisters. And I feel like as the daughter of immigrants, it was always that kind of work hard, work hard, keep striving, keep going,
that work ethic, yeah.
Right, that the future is yours. You just have to make your own path. And, I did. I worked really hard, high school, college. I mean, obviously I had some fun, but... But no, when I was finishing up my bachelor's in business, I realized that I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I felt like I just knew I didn't know anything very well. Like, business is so broad.
Yeah.
And my goal, which sounds so naive, but I wanted to be a CEO. Like, you can just graduate college and get hired to be a CEO. So I started to realize that was not going to happen. So I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm done learning.
Yeah.
So I thought about either getting my MBA or going to law school. And when I decided to apply for law school, I just felt like, okay, this is where I need to go. And yeah, so I actually ended up at Hamlin University, which is in St. Paul. So I lived in the Minneapolis area for 5 years. So I stayed for 3 years to go to law school, and I stayed, I guess it'd be about an extra year and a half. I did a clerkship. And then when I became pregnant with my daughter, we decided to move back here to the Quad Cities to be closer to family.
Yeah. I know you talked about when you applied for law school, it was kind of like, this is what I should be doing. But while you're in law school, was there a pivotal moment where you were like, I made the right choice?
There was, but it wasn't a great one.
Yeah.
It was actually a really crappy pivotal moment.
Oh no.
So I grew up true crime, reading, all the stuff. My mom, for whatever reason, has always been kind of a true crime junkie and got us into reading all these, they were Anne Rule. She's a writer out of Seattle and would do all these really amazing true crime stories, books. My father was into the same type of films. So I was like, I want to be a criminal lawyer. And then in law school, it depends. I don't know if they're all the same way, but your entire final grade for the year is just one exam. So there's no like quizzes or homework.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
just one big essay exam at the end for all of your classes. So after the first year, I think I'm sailing and I'm doing a great job, and I love criminal law. It's a required first year course. And I get my grade, and I got the second lowest grade in the class.
Oh my God.
And the only person who got a worse grade was someone who did not speak English as a first language.
Oh my gosh.
So I was crushed. And
Yeah.
I didn't do that fantastic in my other classes either, but criminal law was the worst. So I went to speak to my criminal law professor to see, like, what did I do wrong? Am I studying the wrong way?
Right.
You know, is my writing style incorrect? And his answer to me was, well, not everybody is cut out to be a lawyer. So that just...
Was that a motivator?
It was. First, I was depressed.
Yeah.
I spent the summer trying to like find myself and decide what I wanted to do. And I really wasn't sure I was going to go back. And then something in me was like, no, I am going to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get my grades up, to learn how to write the right way they need, to make sure I'm studying the right way and reading. And I did. I worked just as hard as I could the next 2 years. And I graduated, and I raised my grades, and I graduated with like a B+, which to me could have been an A+.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I started so bad.
Yeah.
And I've always been really proud of myself that I didn't quit.
Yeah, I love that. And I was going to say, I think that says a lot about you, because I had a horrible internship, and it was kind of the same thing. Like, they made me feel like this isn't it. And then I was like, no, I'm going to prove them wrong. So, like, I love that you didn't take that and let it deter you and just, like, completely shift, you know, your dream. So that's amazing. So you began with defense work, right? Before joining the public defender's office. What drew you to criminal law initially?
Well, initially I started working for like a general practice firm, and I did like it. I tried a little bit of everything, and then I had the opportunity to do some court-appointed work. So sometimes the public defender's office in the different counties, they don't have enough staff, so they will appoint private lawyers to do criminal cases. So I started to do that, and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love it. I love the fast pace. I love, you know, just the criminal law and procedure. And how exciting the cases were versus, you know, reviewing contracts or doing depositions. And so I actually only stayed at that firm for about a year, and I ended up getting an offer with the Rock Island County Public Defender's Office. I worked there for about 5 years, and I loved it. Oh, it was great.
You mentioned it earlier, but you did move back eventually to the Quad Cities to be close to your family while expecting a child.
Yes.
While building your legal career.
Yes.
And obviously, you know, the higher up you go, the more responsibilities you have. So, I mean, how did you navigate all of that?
Well, I think any moms out there know that there's something about having a kid that always keeps you centered. Like, yes, work is crazy and you're stressed and there's trials. But at the end of the day, you have to come in and walk in that door after work and be mom. And I think that helped a lot. It helps to give you that work-life balance and to just kind of keep you focused on what really matters. Like, does it really matter that the judge yelled at me today? Or does it matter that, you know, I play Barbie dolls with my daughter and, you know, make her happy? So I think that's always been a huge grounding force, and that I wanted her to be proud of me. I wanted her to see that women can do anything. It doesn't matter if you get kicked down, you get back up. So that was, you know, I will say over the years, especially since becoming the state's attorney in 2019, you know, I had to start campaigning, which was a completely foreign world to me. I'd never been involved in politics in that way. And that was a lot of time, and that took out, you know, of my personal life. But I was, you know, my daughter helped, her friends would help me and do parades and things like that. But there definitely were many days and nights where I would cry because I had to miss something. But I also, again, at the end of the day, I just wanted my daughter to know how much I loved her, and that I was working so hard to, you know, do something to make a difference, and again, to show her that, you know, we can do anything.
Well, and it's, I mean, if you go back, like, you saw that hard work from your parents, and now your daughter is seeing all that hard work. So it is important. I think a lot of people do struggle with the work-life balance. So yes. I love that. So you are the first former criminal defense attorney to be elected in Rock Island County. Mm-hmm. What challenges did you face along the way?
Ooh, well, it was definitely hard. I don't think anyone expected me to be the one that was chosen as the interim. Mm-hmm. At the time, the state's attorney was Judge John McGehee. He became judge, and so he left open a vacancy for, I want to say, a year and a half. So I was one of many. I believe there were 7 or 8 applicants to apply to be that interim position. And I don't think it was expected that I was going to get it because I came from an all defense background. Right. I had never been a prosecutor until I was the state's attorney. So I think there was definitely a lot of skepticism. Yeah. And it took a lot of time to earn trust from the office. And it's an everyday effort to earn that trust and to have a good, positive, work environment. But it was a huge challenge. I would say it took a couple years to me, feel like I was a little more grounded.
Yeah. Was there any hesitancy from you to apply for that since you didn't have that background, or were you you weren't hesitant at all?
I was angry because I had heard the people that were applying, and it was all men. Mm. Now, at the end of it, there was more women, but I was like, this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There's other great qualified women, and there had never been a female state's attorney. Yeah. And that was kind of what drove me. And once I started the process, I'm very competitive. Yeah. I throw Scrabble boards at people if I lose. So once I started the process, I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to do, I can do this. I know I'm the best pick. And again, it was a tough journey, but I'm really happy with where I'm at.
You kind of just talked about how every day it's you have to work to build that trust. I mean, how do you do that?
I think one of the most important things that I've done in that office is that I have created a really good management team. So I have there's 5 of us. We are the ones that, it's a bigger office. We're 34, 35 people, 17 attorneys, including myself, a lot of support staff, and we have a huge amount of responsibility. So one of the best things I think that I did was around year two, I started to have a management team, and so they helped me. And I think by them helping me, I wanted to also empower them to feel like, hey, you are not just an employee. You are a supervisor. You're helping run this office. I want your input. I want your criticism. So I think giving them more power helped me. Yeah. It helped me a lot. And I think it also helped to be able to have really good discussions about operations, management, employee issues. So that's been really huge, is to be able to have this core group that I really trust. And I feel their mission, like mine, is to make the office the best that it can.
Yeah. So not only were you the first woman, but also the first Latina. Mm-hmm. What did that feel like? And was there did you feel pressure at all?
I did feel some pressure. I did have a lot of comments either made at me or around me about the fact that I was only being chosen or only being elected because I was a minority, and it was time to put in a minority, so they just picked her. Oh, and that is extremely infuriating. Yeah. So I was kind of like, well, fine. I'm going to show them that is not why I'm here. That it's just another asset I bring. Yeah. It's not
that you earned it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So. Again, I worked really hard. I had a plan of the things that I wanted to change in the office, the things, that I wanted us to look like, and new processes. And I worked extremely hard to earn the respect of the judges, the police officers, the whole law enforcement, my office, the defense bar. It was a tough transition. And again, it's an everyday thing, because it can just be one bad day and you got to mess everything up and have to start over again.
Yeah. You talked about it a little bit, but, my question was going to be, did you ever feel like you could fit into a male-dominated field? But it sounds like, to me, you didn't care.
I did not. I
love that.
And I still see it a lot. If you're one of the more, I guess, elected officials or individuals that are, department heads, and you're male, they're sitting there chatting in the offices, and they're talking about, the fun stuff they're doing over the weekend and hunting and fishing and golfing, and then you walk in and they're like, oh, she's here. Time to be quiet. And so, yeah, you do feel a little bit like you kind of stick out, but at the same time, I don't think I've ever been afraid to just walk into those rooms and be like, yeah, hi, I'm also in charge.
Yeah.
So, 'cause I think you have to.
Yeah, that was my question. How do you navigate that? Or like, what advice do you have for other women who are kind of in a male dominant field and they're not sure of like how to navigate that?
I think don't be afraid. And I think the most important thing is finding like the inner confidence in yourself and remembering that it's your life. What other people think about you, what other people say about you it's none of your business. Why do you care? They don't walk in your shoes every day. They don't do the work you do. They don't, live with the family and raise the family that you do. It's about you. It's not about them. And at the end of the day, you have to be happy with what you're doing every day, the decisions you make and how you choose to show up.
Yeah. I have read that you've kind of mentioned that when you're a woman, you often have to do all the work and you just have to earn your seat at the table.
Yeah.
Is there a specific example or something where you felt that extra burden?
I think I've felt that extra burden ever since I've been a lawyer. Now, we do have a lot more women lawyers than we have over the decades. Finally, I think female enrollment is even higher at this point. But I still feel like it's kind of the good old boys club. And you do see that in certain places, and it can be hard. And I don't think that we're not just expected to do our job. We're expected to do it really well, not get upset. Don't get emotional, because heaven forbid you're a woman and you might get emotional. If you're upset, then you're just raging at somebody. So I think you have to do your job. You have to do it better than other people. And on top of that, you have to have that like emotional intelligence to be able to keep your composure. Not give in when you're really, really angry. It's okay when other men get angry and start, being loud, because when you do it, you sometimes feel like, oh, they're all looking at me like I'm having some type of hormone attack.
Yep.
But in fact, like I'm being me. So I do still see that. And I think it's hard, and I think it's still going to take some time, but we have so many great, amazing female leaders now, not just here locally, but also nationwide. That aren't afraid of that. And I think that's what we have to do, is just, ignore it. It's all noise, and we just have to be ourselves, have confidence in ourselves, like unshakable confidence. And even if you don't really feel it, you just have to pretend I got this.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. How do you sustain your passion for justice and your moral compass, especially when you're dealing with like difficult cases, different, expectations, just pressure?
Well, this is definitely with criminal law in general. You're never going to make anyone happy.
Yeah.
You're either charging someone with a crime that just the charge alone is going to change their life, or you've got a victim who's has been through one of the most traumatic incidents that's ever happened to them. You're dealing with family members. You're dealing with, a defendant that is now possibly incarcerated or will be incarcerated for many, many years, and what you're doing to their dependents, their family, their friends. There's a lot at stake, and you can never make everyone happy. The most important thing to do is, I believe, is act in a fair, ethical, non-biased manner, to treat every case, not as a case, but as like a person and a life. Make sure you're making the right decisions, that you are not giving someone a different standard, because I've had to prosecute elected officials, I've had to prosecute former law enforcement, current law enforcement, and at the end of the day, just knowing like I know I did the right thing. I know that even if people are mad, even if they don't agree with what I did or said or the decision I made, I know that I did the right thing.
Yeah. As I say, does that help you like not take it home or kind of shut it off when you're at home?
Sometimes.
I would say that would be so hard, I would think. Like, how do you do that?
It can be hard, and it doesn't help that my husband is also an attorney. So he was a defense attorney for many, many
Yeah.
years. When I became state's attorney, he started working for a federal judge. Federal
Yeah,
judge.
yeah.
So he's actually a federal law clerk now. So that helps a little, but like he's still a defense attorney at heart, and I'm a prosecutor now. So it's unfortunately we're just dorks, and we read cases and we watch the documentaries
Yeah.
and we like to keep learning more, but it is hard not to have it be all consuming. It's nice having someone that I can come home and vent to.
And they understand.
Yes,
Yeah, that
they
is nice.
Why,
Yeah.
Can you believe what this judge did to me?
Yeah.
So, and he gets it. But at the same time, you need to have that balance. And it can be hard. There's been some very, very difficult cases, very traumatic ones, especially ones involving children. And, I think it's important to recognize it. I think that many people in our office, not just the prosecutors, but staff, like you can get some secondary trauma from the things that we see. It's truly horrifying.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to recognize that and to make sure that you are, talking to someone that you are processing that. Because it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't imagine. What piece of advice do you have for young women who are wanting to go into law or they're currently in law school? What would you say to them?
I would say just keep going. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. You'll know if it's right for you, and if it is, you just can't let anything stop you. If you get knocked down, that's okay. Keep going. Get up and keep going.
As a Latina in a leadership role, how do you view the role of representation in the justice system?
I think it's so important. Unfortunately, these statistics are not skewed well for minorities at all when it comes to the criminal justice system. There's a lot of different theories and different algorithms that people have studied over the years. But the fact is that we again need to ensure that we are being non-biased, that we're acting ethically, that we're not feeding in or giving into stereotypes, that we are not, we are treating someone who got pulled over in the west end of Rock Island the same way we're treating someone that got pulled over in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Bettendorf.
Right.
Again, that's not, when someone gives us a report or when we're helping investigate a crime, we're not trying to determine what race they are, what color they are, what gender they are, what party they voted for. What we're trying to do is seek justice.
Yeah. I know you mentioned that you're starting to see more women in this field, but what about minorities? Are you seeing more getting into law?
There's not enough.
Yeah.
There's not enough. I know that the statistics have greatly increased for Latino women that are actually going to college, but we just need that representation so bad. Several years of when I was a defense attorney, I was actually the only defense attorney that spoke Spanish. So I would get appointed to any Spanish speakers that needed a defense attorney, and that need is so huge, and it just breaks my heart that we do have a few, not very many, that again, first of all, just being in the court system, that's like a whole nother language.
Yeah.
It's even for people who speak English, it's a whole nother language to understand the terminology and the process. And then when you add on top of that, not being a native speaker or not being an English speaker at all, it's just, the odds are against you. And we just need people that can represent these groups and again ensure that fairness and equity that we all deserve.
You were talking about some of those barriers. How are you working to change some of those?
I think we do really great things, like in our office, our support staff, they donate like $1 to wear jeans, and every month a different staff member will decide who we donate the jean money to. We donate different local causes. I also think just being more involved in the community, different groups that I'm involved in. One of, I think, the most important things is making sure that the public, all different areas of the public, all different groups actually know what's happening in the day-to-day criminal justice system. It's so important for people to know and understand how important it is and how it's just the very bottom pillar of all of our rights in this country. So I think that education, I love going to talk to schools.
Yeah.
I've gone to middle schools, high schools, colleges. I love doing that, getting people more interested in what we do. And again, just that general knowledge.
Yeah. What has been the proudest moment of your career so far?
Oh,
it might be hard to choose.
I'm going to have to say that I just dropped my daughter off at college for her freshman year in August, and I knew she was so ready for it.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to call home crying in a week wanting to come home. She was, she is so mature, way more mature than I was at that age. And she's just amazing, and I'm so proud of her. And I think being able to send her off, and even though it's awful and I miss her so much, just knowing that she's ready and she's such an amazing kid and has the entire world in front of her, that's probably been the proudest.
Over the next 5 to 10 years, like, what are your greatest hopes and ambitions for Rock Island County?
Again, there's a lot of bigger cases that we're currently working on. I want to ensure that the community feels like our justice system is stable, especially right now, that they can trust in what we're doing, that they can trust in the judges, they can trust in the prosecutors, they can trust in the defense, that we are following the law, we care about it, we want to make sure there is equity, that there is justice every single day. I think right now that's so important because we're starting to see that erode. And if you lose faith in the courts, then there are no more rules. It's like the Wild West. And we can't get to that point. And it's just so crucial right now for people to know that despite the chaos that may be happening across the country, that we are working every single day to keep that integrity. And to keep working and doing things the right way and upholding the law.
So one last question.
Sure.
If your younger self, whether it's like early in your career or in law school, could hear your current self advice, like what advice would you tell your younger self?
Oh my gosh. I would probably say it's okay to be scared. That you shouldn't let fear stop you from doing anything.
Keep going.
Yes.
Anything else you wanted to add or say to the listeners?
I'm just really astounded at how many really strong and powerful women in this community we have, and that I see like coming up and being more involved in the community, and it's great. And I hope we keep it up, and I hope that every female leader knows that their primary job is to help empower other women and to help create other leaders in the community in their jobs. It's so important. We wear so many hats. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be this great employee, this great boss, this great mom and wife, and have dinner on the table and Instagram, and it's so hard. You're just comparing yourself all the time, and you kind of have to stop and just be like, no, this is my life. It's my life. I choose it. I don't care what those other people are doing. And, again, it's finding some confidence and knowing who you are and what you want and working for it, and always, keeping that core group of good, loving people around you. But again, helping other women, you got to help them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
I love this, and thank you so much for your work. I'm leaving feeling inspired by you, so I know other people will too. So thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Power of the W podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. For more updates, follow us on social media or visit our website at www.ywcaqc.org. We'll catch you next time right here on the Power of the W.